All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're looking at a book with a pretty wild idea about market downturns. It argues that a bear market, the thing everyone dreads, might actually be the single greatest gift for a trader. Sounds kind of crazy, right? Let's find out how.
I mean, it's a feeling we all know, right? The headlines get scary, your portfolio starts bleeding red, and your gut tells you to either sell everything or just stop looking. For most of us, it's pure anxiety. But what if that fear is completely misplaced? The author of this guide, Giannino, makes a bold claim. Bear markets are actually the easiest and most profitable times to trade. And the reason is simple: fear. Fear creates powerful, predictable trends. You see, bull markets can be choppy and indecisive, but bear markets, they tend to move with a very clear downward momentum. That is, if you have a system to trade them.
Now, this perspective didn't just come out of nowhere. It was forged in failure. The author's journey is actually the key to understanding why his entire system is built on such strict, unshakable discipline.
So get this, he calls his early losses his tuition for a trading university. Of course, it wasn't a real school. It was the thousands of dollars he lost trading on pure emotion, with absolutely no rules, blowing up one account after another. But eventually, he came to see it not as a failure, but as the price of his education.
His path was a classic trial by fire. He started with no rules and he lost everything. Then he did it again, but instead of quitting, he meticulously went back and analyzed every single one of his mistakes. And that's what forced him to build the structured, rule-based system he shares today.
And this brings us right to the core philosophy of the book. It's all about momentum. The goal is not to be a hero who perfectly predicts the exact bottom of a crash.
This is the central idea right here. Trying to pinpoint the exact moment a stock will reverse is a low-probability, high-stress game. The author argues it's way more effective to just identify the market's dominant direction and, in a bear market, that's down, and simply trade with that powerful current. So, how do you join a trend that's already in motion? You wait for a pullback. These are just short pauses or small bounces that go against the main trend. The book frames these not as signs of a reversal, but as these perfect, low-risk opportunities to enter a trade.
This really frames the two mindsets perfectly. Guessing the bottom is a gamble against the market's immense power. It's like trying to swim upstream. But joining the trend? That means you have the market's momentum on your side, and that dramatically shifts the odds in your favor.
Okay, so that's the theory. But how does it actually work in practice? The book details 21 specific patterns, or setups. Let's just look at 2 examples to see how this system gives you clear, unemotional rules for every single trade. First up is what's called a continuation setup. The name sounds technical, but it just means the pattern is designed to help you continue riding a trend that's already in full swing. In this case, a downward one. Here's what you're looking for. See that big red bar on the chart? That's a candle. It shows a big drop for the day, and it establishes a strong downtrend. That's your signal. The theory is, if the downward momentum is really strong, the price on the following days shouldn't be able to recover above the closing price of that first powerful candle. As long as it stays below that line, the downward trend is confirmed.
And the game plan is so clean and simple. You enter the trade near the start of the next day. Your stop loss, that's your preset exit point if the trade goes against you, is placed just above the closing price of that first big candle. This creates a really clearly defined low-risk entry into a powerful trend.
All right, now let's look at the opposite, a reversal setup. While the book warns against trying to predict a bottom, it does give you patterns for when a trend shows signs that it's getting exhausted and might be ready to turn.
This one illustrates the 10 MA curl. That blue line is the 10-day moving average, basically the average closing price over the last 10 days. After a strong downtrend where the price stays below this line, you watch for the price to finally push back above it. The key moment is when that moving average line, which was pointing down, starts to flatten out and act as a new floor of support. Now, this setup requires a little patience. You don't jump in on the first candle that crosses the line. You'll wait for a few candles to actually hold above it, proving the moving average has become solid support. Once that's confirmed, you enter the trade with your stop loss tucked right below that line. See? It's another well-defined systematic entry.
So here is the most crucial point. The book details 21 of these setups, but the author is so clear that no single pattern is a magic bullet. The real secret to success, it isn't the setup you choose. The author uses this fantastic analogy. A baseball player hitting a 95-mile-per-hour fastball isn't just guessing. They've trained for years until their reaction is second nature. He says recognizing chart patterns is the exact same thing. It's a skill you develop through relentless practice, not some talent you're born with.
Think of it this way. The setups are just the vocabulary. They give you a way to read the market, but they are completely useless without the grammar. And the grammar is the rules of discipline, risk management, and emotional control.
So this is the ultimate takeaway. Success isn't about finding some perfect magic pattern. It's about having a plan for every single trade, always knowing your exit point if you're wrong, and just putting in the hours to train your eyes to see these opportunities in real time.
Which really leaves us with this question. The next bear market is a matter of when, not if. So when it comes, will it be a time for panic, or will it be an opportunity that you've actually trained for? What's your plan going to be?